The thought that one's past and future are predetermined is a bit of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's nice to know that whatever I do, whether good or bad, well, hey, it isn't my fault. But on the other, what's the point of my existence if the choices I make in life do not matter? This conundrum is the essence of Nick Payne's play Constellations at the Vaudeville Theatre. Now, unusually for me, I'm going to start with a word about the staging of the show before dipping into the plot. The reason for this is that the producers have done something rather unique in my experience. Instead of the traditional single cast performing their 8 shows a week over the production's run, Constellations has 4 separate casts performing the same script. So far, we've had Peter Capaldi and Zoe Wanamaker, and Sheila Atim and Ivanhoe Jeremiah. I went along to see Amari Douglas and Russell Tovey open in their run, which is alternating with Anna Maxwell Martin and Chris O'Dowd. My view is therefore on the Tovey Douglas show, which is also unusual because it's the first time Constellations has been performed with a same-sex pairing. The story itself is a potential simply one. It is a love story. At a mutual friend's barbecue, 2 people meet. Manuel, played by Douglas, is a quantum physicist, and Roland, played by Tovey, is a beekeeper. There's an almost immediate mutual attraction that leads them down a certain route. Or does it? You see, unlike a standard narrative, we, the audience, follow Manuel and Roland from their initial meeting and response to each other along different timelines as their multiverse stories pan out. Now, going on what I've said so far, you might think you need a degree in quantum physics in order to understand constellations, but you would be wrong. True, I have seen every episode of The Big Bang Theory, and am aware of the concept of string theory, multiverses, etc., thanks to Loki and the TVA. But even without this knowledge, after the first couple of minutes, the show is really easy to follow. This is helped by the writing, which is finely tuned, so each multiverse scene is different but familiar to the others in its part of the timeline. We're assisted in navigating this with some wonderfully effective lighting from Lee Cohen. This uses Tom Scott's deceptively simple but amazingly effective set, which is based around a set of balloons, and signals the breaks to give actors the time to move. And speaking of actors, what a job this must be for any thespian. Whilst we are sitting back watching, they have a marvellously complicated script that must have been a nightmare to learn. At points, the language of the scenes are so similar that everything relies on the way the lines are delivered, and both actors have really nailed that aspect. Douglas brings a lovely campness to the role of Manuel. At points, a stereotypical queen, at others just a boy in love, and at others a geeky lad connecting with the real world. Tovey's Roland is the boy next door, a little shy, often quiet, especially when compared to Manuel, and then prone to bursts of over-the-top enthusiasm that take over as he loses all inhibitions, leading to unexpected but actually very logical emotional outbursts. The 2 characters have real chemistry, which makes the unlikely pairing of a beekeeper and a quantum physicist feel real and understandable. I mean, talk about opposites attract. So if it's hard work for the actors, what must it be like for the director? Now, let's be honest, if there's a category of bravest director at the Olivier Awards next year, then Michael Longhurst is the obvious winner. I mean, what would possess someone to take a pretty complicated script and then decide to have 4 different productions of it with 4 different casts running pretty much at the same time? I wouldn't do it, but I'm so glad Longhurst has. Overall, Constellations is an amazing idea that has been extremely well executed. There are moments when the script doesn't totally feel right, but on the whole, they are small fry compared to the overall concept. Although the version I saw had a same-sex pairing, there is nothing intrinsically gay about the play. The other 3 sets are all mixed sex. This is a story about the possibilities of love, irrespective of gender, orientation, or age. And at the end, it leaves one looking back on life and just wondering, what if? I gave Constellations 4 stars on London Theatre 1. You can read your review there. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Thank you very much.